Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Megan, all the way from Hawaii. It's lovely to have you here, and we're going to be talking about music therapy for dogs. Guys, Amelia and Monique, if you've got any questions, please ask. You can write them in the chat. But yes, let's talk about why is music therapy for dogs important, I think was the first question, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Definitely. So I think that music therapy for dogs is really awesome because it's an effective and inexpensive modality that is, I think, pretty underrated and underutilized. And the settings in which it could be used more would range widely from someone's home or even like a training session or in the veterinary hospital, dog boarding, grooming salons, pretty much anywhere that dogs are, we could be trying to incorporate more sound and music therapy to, have the benefits of the therapeutic effects that it can have. And, the main thing that we're trying to do with dogs in particular is just have them feel better, right? We're always trying to help our dogs to be in a good state of mind. And dogs have very wide range of emotions and states of arousal, where sometimes they're very amped up and hyper, sometimes they're anxious, other times they're depressed. They can grieve and feel sadness just like we do. And so music is just a thing that we can do to help ourselves and help them in so many different scenarios. So it's kind of like the tip of the iceberg to start talking about it in that way. But it's fun because you can really be creative with how you're applying it to so many different scenarios.
Yeah, I know in our interview you talked about your particular practice, and it sounds wonderful. I wish you were over here. I'd be coming to you. And obviously the home, I can see that, but I've never actually thought about using it in a training scenario. I think that's actually quite cool.
Yeah. And I think it would depend on the dog. Like, if it just depending on where they're at and what your goal is. If it's like a older dog that's kind of like low energy, maybe you might have more of an energizing music as opposed to a dog that's anxious or hyperactive, and maybe you'd have like a calming piano or kind of like the spa type of atmospheric music going. So and then every dog is different too, and each person is different. So nowadays it's so easy with our devices and streaming platforms. You can kind of go crazy with experimentation, and there's so many resources out there of like Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube, where you might find different types of music that you would experiment with, how it might affect your dog or even yourself. And then, you feeling a different way would affect your dog in turn. So
Yeah. So how do we tell if the music is having the effect that we want?
yeah, I think it would maybe be the similar approach to how you might look if it was like a toddler or a baby, where obviously they can't talk. So it's not like your friends where you could just say like, oh, hey, how do you feel about this? Do you like this song? You might have to watch more of, do more observation of kind of a physiological response, where if you see that the dog's breathing slows down, they take a deep breath. If they seem to maybe not like it, cues might indicate, the pupils dilating, panting. If you put on some kind of like a really intense loud music with a lot of crashing and banging, you might notice that, where the dog starts to show signs of stress or fear because they don't understand.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, those kind of those sounds that are more could be misinterpreted for thunder or other types of scary noises. Then you might notice more of like fearful behaviors as opposed to, them laying down or sighing, seeming to have the state of arousal come down. Or like I said before, if the dog's like too tired and too sleepy or depressed, and you play some like cheerful sounding music, and they want to get up and engage, then it could be having an effect on them that way too.
And I've heard of people saying that reggae is, some dogs really enjoy reggae.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, but you're a classical musician. Is that correct? Yeah. Yeah. So how many,
Yeah.
what do you play? I know you play the harp, the violin.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I grew up playing music. My parents were both symphony musicians. So first I learned violin, then I learned flute. In high school, I was in jazz band and I played the bass. So then I learned drums and guitar, piano, harp, and then along the way I learned like electronic music production too. So using the computer as an instrument.
Yeah.
So they're all
How,
fun in different ways.
when we're playing music for our dog, how important is the device that we're using? Because some maybe have got more of a tinny sound, or maybe too much bass, or do you
Yeah.
factor that into the equation?
I think so. Yeah. Any small device like a phone tends to have more high end. And, you know, I think, I think the best thing to use might be like a Bluetooth speaker, that kind of has like a good spectrum of the sounds it can put out. It's not like a teeny little phone speaker, but then it's not like a full sound system of like surround sound with like the subwoofer and all that. I think some of the bass, the bigger um, sound waves can actually be felt in the body sometimes,
Mm,
especially at higher volumes. So if it's too much low end in terms of the sounds and the frequencies, it might be kind of stimulating or potentially feels like something the dog might interpret as like, the ground moving or an earthquake, and some kind of natural phenomenon that they can't explain. It was like, oh, where is this coming from?
mm.
And then too much high end could be a little bit like overstimulating too, because they do have that sensitive hearing, especially the high pitched noises. So I think something that kind of has the full range, but not too much of one or the other. So it's some type of like a household speaker that music sounds pretty good on, but it doesn't have to be like anything super elaborate. I think a phone and sometimes is better than nothing. If you're like taking your dog in the car or into the vet, I've had owners that will just like put the calming music on when they leave the house and they have it playing on the phone. And then I come into the exam room and they already have the music playing on their phone. I'm like, oh, that's nice. You did so much for your dog just on your way here. And
Yeah.
now the nice continuity of some calming music on the way. So
Yeah.
that's
And do you, how often do you pair the calming music with a scent, whether it's in the home or training or in your practice? So like a calming
yeah,
scent, like maybe, I don't know, lavender or something like that.
absolutely. I do it at my practice all the time. There's always calming music and calming aromatherapy. But yeah, I think that's a really powerful way to uh, stack those modalities in terms of like, you know, um, things that are a little bit more subtle, compared to like giving your dog a medication for calming. But for people, like we experience that ourselves if we go into a spa, like it's as soon as you walk in, it's quiet, it's a calm atmosphere, there's music playing, and it smells good. So you have at least two senses, if not three, if the lights are a bit dim, that are then affected in giving your brain information that this is a safe this is a safe atmosphere and a place where you can let your sympathetic nervous system turn down a bit.
Yeah. When you walk into those places, you almost take a deep breath, don't you? It's like that.
Yeah.
God, I feel like the weight of the world is suddenly gone.
Mhm.
But I like we were saying about your client, she had the music on before she left home in the car, then when the dog gets to the practice. But how important would you say it is to, and I encourage my clients with separation anxiety, but it's all very well putting on the calming music and then walking out the door, but what we want is that association with that music first before we add it into the training. So is that also what you do, or how do you address it?
Yeah, I think using it as much as possible, as much as someone is interested in it. Some people they'll do it because they just want to help their dog, but other people, they're like fully embracing it and they're like, yes, I want to have this nice music as much as possible for me and the dog. So I think those who find it intriguing seem to have the best success, because then they're willing and able to do it the most often. And so, yeah, you could have your music going like during your walks even. You could have it when you guys are snuggling in bed at night or in the morning. Just anytime that things are really good, that's a great time to put the music on, so that your dog is like, oh, like happy times mean music. And then when, mom leaves, the happy music goes on and I still get to absorb that. So,
Yeah, they've got that association. And do
mhm.
you think, I mean, how much weight would you put in into how we feel and how it influences our dog? So if we've put on this calming music, theoretically, we should be nice and calm too. I know you
Yeah.
mentioned that at the beginning, but it wouldn't, if we could get into that a little bit more in depth.
Yeah, I think it makes a huge difference, not only because of just like the state of your nervous system, but also just sometimes taking that moment to put some nice music on will make you be more present in the space that you're in. So I know, like, for example, if I get home and I've had a bad day and I just sit down on the couch and I'm like on my phone and scrolling and kind of in that like bad loop, then I'm probably not paying much attention to my pets, because I'm like in my negative vibes that are happening and kind of stuck in that way of being for that period of time. But if I come home and I'm like, okay, I'm going to let my day go and I'm going to start my evening, or whatever time, and I'm going to kind of start fresh, put some nice music on and spend some time with my animals. It's just one more practice that is part of what you could have be your like healthy practices with your pets, that they inspire you to have a self-care practice through like wanting to uh, provide a nice environment for them. You're also by proxy doing it for yourself, and then you're going to be taking that time to be like, okay, like I'm home now, we've got the nice music playing, I'm here with my animals, I love them, I'm going to spend some time just sitting with them and giving them a massage and like appreciating each other. So I think um, there's so many levels of the ways that it can benefit. I don't think it's as like cut and dry as, um, if you're not stressed, then your dog won't be stressed. It's like there's so many beautiful layers and dimensions to how that could actually happen.
I think the trap for most of us when you go to work somewhere, when you come home, all you want to do is, well, what most people do is maybe they bustle around, do their dinner, sit in front of the TV, and they're not thinking about, okay, how do I actually relax? Because it's just a distraction then, isn't it? The TV, it's not adding that extra, I don't know, calmness to their own lives, let alone their animals.
Yeah. So if you decide, when I get home, I'm gonna do a 15-minute meditation, or I'm gonna go for a walk for an hour and bring my dog along. So having those things where you decide to take better care of yourself, then it could spill over into your animals and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at the end of the day, a lot of what I try to help people realize is that the more you take care of yourself, then it helps your pets. And if you take good care of your pets, then it helps you too. So it's all this like really mutually beneficial type of practices that we can start to try to implement one thing at a time, little by little.
Yeah. Has anyone got any questions, or has anybody in this room have you actually tried to use music with your dogs? You can unmute or type in the chat. But yeah, it would be interesting to hear what other people's experience is with, or using music. I always intend to, Dr. Megan, but then I like, oh no, I'll do this instead, or I'll do that instead. And it always gets put to the side.
Yeah, I think it's a nice thing to, an easy way to implement it is maybe your goal is like to have it on when you're eating dinner, because that's a time when you really shouldn't be doing much else. And, you know, it's a thing we do every day, no matter what, have a meal. And if you can incorporate it then you might leave it on for the rest of the evening and have that quiet time when you're relaxing with your family. And maybe having it on would inspire you to just lay down and relax or have a little meditation or something like that instead of going straight to the TV.
Yeah, yeah. TV is such a distraction, isn't it?
Yeah.
If no one's got any questions, maybe we could hear from the harp. I'd love to hear some music. And then we can all take a deep breath, calm down.
That sounds good.
Everybody excited? But while Dr. Megan's getting her harp organized, if you've got any questions, please ask while she's here. Take advantage of it, because I'm sure she's more than happy to answer them. So you could ask her maybe what type of music, or how you tell if your dog's enjoying it or not, or yeah, or if you've just tell us if you've used it at all before. Cool.
I'm gonna try to unblur my background. Pardon the clutter.
It doesn't look too cluttered.
Okay. Can you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
It is actually cutting out a little bit.
Let me see. Sometimes Zoom is a little weird with,
Yeah, sound, extra noises. Yeah, it can be weird.
let me see if there's any settings here I can adjust.
Look at that photo of the Skippy. So cute. That's Paddy's dog, Skippy. I'm assuming it's Skippy, Paddy.
Yep.
Little fluff ball.
Oh, this might work actually.
Yeah, anyone got any questions? Well, you can feel free to unmute or type in the chat. Monique says, what about white noise sounds like soft rain, thunder sounds? Yeah, good question.
I think that when it comes to those, you have to just try it. And like we talked about before, see what you notice. I think the thunder in particular might be one that could be a little bit nerve-wracking for some dogs, but it depends on the dog. And if it's a gentle, quiet thundering versus like, the type that we hear outside in a storm could be a lot more stressful. So nature sounds like the rain or a stream flowing, a river, ocean waves crashing, those can all be really nice.
Yeah.
It just depends on you and your dog.
There's so many different, like you've got, from my understanding, brown noise, white noise, pink noise, gray noise. I mean, there's so many different noises.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you have to try them all and see
the whole
which one
sensory
works.
world,
Yeah.
to try out.
Yeah, fascinating.
I can try this again.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't want it cutting out. Is that better?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. If it's... No, it's cutting out. Yeah.
Can't hear it at all.
You can hear plucking, but you can't really hear the tune. Can anyone else hear it very well, or what was that? Oh.
Are you getting an echo now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll turn that off. Yeah, darn
I wouldn't
Zoom.
mind. We tried. Michelle
Yeah.
says she works in a vet clinic. And is there a particular type of music that can be helpful in that situation with many different levels of arousal and anxiety? And is there a preferred volume for it to be played? Oh yeah, the volume thing's like pretty important, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in vet clinics, it's always a tricky thing because if there's music, an option for music, it tends to get hijacked all day long by different employees. Like
Yeah.
I even sometimes at a fear-free clinic that I do relief there, and it's like they're really good about fear-free stuff, but sometimes their music system ends up with like rock and roll and kind of like music that's fun to work to, but not as calming for the pets. And so, you know, you could maybe have a discussion with your coworkers about the type of music that you guys all could agree to play. Like maybe you do play reggae throughout the day at a moderate volume. Um, if it's like a pet that's highly anxious, then you might put on classical piano music is a good one that I think most people tend to enjoy that. But I think if in a vet clinic, you kind of have to get all of your coworkers on board so that if you're playing one genre that you like all day and then the others don't like it, it could create a little drama.
Yeah, I've done volunteering at a rescue, and yeah, the music wasn't great. They pumped it out and it was awful screechy opera. I think we talked about that in the interview, but yeah.
Mhm.
Lynn just said be sure the sound is on the music setting. So I don't know if that,
I'll try it one more time. Let's see.
while you're
There's a
doing
whole
that,
bunch of settings.
right. While you're doing that, Patty, who I know has got a dog with separation anxiety, but she just said she listened to a podcast by Eileen Anderson last week, and it made me rethink using sounds I'd recorded of my niece's baby to desensitize Skippy to children's noises. Do you address sounds in general or music only?
Yeah, that's another branch of sound therapy is desensitizing. And so you can definitely do that where you might record something that the dog is averse to, and then slowly introduce it paired with a positive reinforcer so that they do start to get used to the noise of whichever thing. Like if they tend to have a noticeable trigger, then you could either record it on your phone or, go on YouTube and find the noise category that they don't like. And I would just say, do it cautiously so that you're not inducing stress unintentionally. If they hate the sound of a baby crying, for instance, and you put it on and they're like, it's like start at a very low volume and short session. So maybe like 10 seconds and then turn it off. And if they stay calm, then give them a positive reinforcement like a treat. But it could be something good to work with your trainer on if you have one, so that you're doing desensitization and positive reinforcement type of techniques. And your trainer can help you to see too, like if your dog is getting close to their threshold or if they've gone beyond it and if it's good to just, quit that session for the day.
And I imagine with that too, you've got to get the order right. So you don't want to have the treat, then the sound. It would be the sound, then the treat. Otherwise, yeah, that could be problematic. Patty, do you use calming music for Skippy when you do home alone time training? You can unmute if you want.
I did until I had this really old CD called Playground. It was a dog's playground. It was great. But then my CD player broke, and just by chance, I was going to buy a new one. And just by chance, this woman at a restaurant who saw that we were really, Skippy had her little pen with the visual barrier and all the reactive dog stuff. And it turned out that she was seeing the same veterinary behaviorist, and she asked me if I had heard of this little cube Pet Acoustics, I think, or
Oh,
Dog Acoustics or something
mhm.
that was about the same price, and I've been playing that, and I swear she is acting very relaxed.
Oh,
So
wow.
I don't know if it's me thinking that she, but it really seems like, oh, this is calming. So I don't know.
Yeah, I guess Dr. Megan, you can also get that caregiver's placebo effect. I think that's why when Patty's saying, is it me just seeing something that's not there, or is it actually happening? Would that be the case?
Yeah. Yeah, I think with those scenarios, it's like, as long as it's working, whether it's by way of a placebo effect or not, then we're getting the outcome that we want. So, and those devices are really handy because they, it's like a dedicated pet speaker that you can just put it on and put it by them, and don't have to fool around as much with like the Bluetooth and all that stuff with some of the
And
portable speakers.
And I imagine if Patty's seeing that and seeing that her dog's more relaxed, then she's going to be more relaxed. And then,
Yeah,
then we had that
you
nice.
can make
True.
Yeah.
forward steps with your training, and making sure that the dog is more relaxed on a regular basis, and they start to have that better state of mind, and it just compounds to promote a more relaxed, happy dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you work out the settings on the harp? On the not the harp?
I'm gonna try one more time.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I've never used.
I think this might be the right one this time.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. Okay, let me know if you can hear.
Oh, that sounds a bit better.
Better? Were you able to hear it?
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah.
Good. Okay, I'll play something else now.
I felt nice and relaxed. I don't know about anybody else. Oh, Patty said Skippy's ears perked up.
Oh, that's good.
And my dog jumped on my lap.
Oh, good. Everyone's enjoying it.
that's beautiful. I love Danny Boy. The harp is such a beautiful instrument.
It is. It's so relaxing to play. So I really enjoy it. It helps calm me down.
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. That was amazing. Yeah.
Skippy put
Is
her
that?
head down at the end of the song.
Oh,
It was
that's so
really
cute. I see Lynn Muramaro. Is that Lynn Muramaro from, oh my gosh, that's my old music teacher is in
Oh
our
no.
chat
Oh wow.
from growing up when I played the flute. That's so wonderful. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I saw your name and I thought, oh my gosh, is it the Dr. Meghan Barrett?
Oh, wow, that's so great. It's great to see you.
So proud of you.
Have you
Thank
got a dog,
you.
Lynn?
Yes. And so I'm sitting with her. She was kind of lounging and yeah, and her eyes and her ears kind of perked up as she was listening. And sometimes I think she's deaf. So because when I call command to her, it takes me 3 times before it will like register. So just kind of, when I saw the music and how it could relate or affect animal behavior, I thought, yeah, my ears perked up too.
Yeah, I think we take it for granted, just like you said, with if she can't hear as well too. Even just giving something that is a different sound than voices, because they might become deaf to some different ranges, and maybe a higher pitch they could still hear or something. Music, you can also feel it in your body, so I think that can be an effect as well as like feeling it, not quite hearing it. But yeah, I'm sure there's people who can't hear that could maybe explain that phenomenon more too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, because that vibration comes out, doesn't it? Even if they can't hear the sound.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
great. I'm so glad you offered this session today.
yeah. What have you got any resources on your website regarding dog music therapy that people can have a look at?
Yes, I have a guide on there that is a little bit more info about the sound therapy and how music affects dogs and different applications and just fun information to know about this topic. So that's on my website, which is drbarrettvet.com/resources. And then that guide is on there along with several others.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, so everybody can have a look at that. Yeah. Any other questions? No, anybody? Oh, okay. Well, we might let you go then. What time is it there, Dr. Megan?
It's 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, that's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
So confusing because I know it's late. It can be sort of, I don't know, was it 8 p.m. in some areas of America, and yeah.
Yeah. Time zones are
Where are you,
tricky.
if I might ask? Because it said Tuesday at I forget what time, and then it's a good thing the email clarified that, um, because it's Monday here where
Yeah.
I'm at. So
I'm in
I don't know
Australia,
where.
so yeah. I'm in Australia.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Dr. Megan, where are you at, if I may ask?
I'm in Hawaii too. Are
Oh
you
my
still in
gosh,
Hawaii?
yes.
Yeah. We feel far away, but we're actually really close together.
Okay. Well, good to know you're here.
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
need a vet, I know a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Is
Well, if you're
Hawaii like quite big, or is it, I mean, if is it, how big would it be in terms of distances?
Yeah. Well, our island that we live on is about an hour drive from one end to the other without
Oh,
traffic. So, it's pretty small, but when you live here, you know, it's your whole world. So,
Yeah.
and then there's several other islands in Hawaii and
Right.
I travel inter-island for work. And so, but then if you're trying to fly pretty much anywhere, it takes at least 5 or 6 hours to get to the closest other land. So
Right.
we're pretty far out here.
I would love to go there one day.
Yeah. Same with Australia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Meghan. And unless anybody else has got any questions for her, we will let her get on. I don't know if you've got appointments this afternoon or, yeah. So, but thank you so much for joining us, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, and everyone's saying thank you. So, cool.
Thank
Yeah, thanks
you.
everyone for coming in. It's fun having this session.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and loved hearing the harp. So, yeah. All righty. Okay, guys. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Bye.